Hey guys, so today I'm here with the DV8 off-road front aluminum inner fenders fitting on 2018 JL Wranglers. So these are going to be designed to replace those cheap plastic inner fender guards right out of the factory with something that you can trust to hold up. These are going to do a great job at protecting the side of your engine bay as well as your inner wheel well from any debris kicking up on the trail or even on your everyday adventures. These are also going to do a great job at assisting the vent in your quarter panel at heat dispersion, keeping your engine bay cooler for a longer period of time. Not to mention, these are going to give you a very aggressive off-road look, and personally I think they look pretty badass. So at the moment these are going to be roughly $250, and we also offer the rears for about the same price, so I would keep that in mind. We also offer these in a raw aluminum, so if you're looking for that bare material look or even looking to color match them to whatever color scheme going on your JL, that is definitely a great option to look at. So at the moment, we don't offer that many options for inner fender guards, but we do have a couple of other options on the site. This is going to be your pricier one. However, all of those other options do not actually come with the vents in place, giving you that double benefit of protection as well as heat dispersion. So I would definitely take a look at this one if you're looking for 2-in-1. Not to mention, they also come with a 3-year limited warranty to keep a little bit of peace of mind in your investment. Now, install is going to be a pretty easy 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. There's not going to be any drilling required. Everything is bolt on with a couple of hand tools. So speaking of the install, let's jump into that now. Tools that I use for my install were a trim removal tool, an impact wrench, 1/4-inch drive ratchet, a 3/8-inch wrench, and standard Allen key, a 10mm socket, a 3/8-inch socket, and an 8mm socket, and a 22mm deep socket. So our first step is going to be to take our tire off to give us a little bit more room to work with when getting our inner fender liner off and our new one on. I'm going to be using a 22mm deep socket in order to do that. So there are a couple of clips and a couple of bolts holding in your inner fender liner. We're going to start by removing the 2 clips down at the bottom of the inner fender liner right here using a trim removal tool. Now we'll have another clip on the front of the fender, right on the outside. So we can take our trim removal tool again, go behind the inner fender liner, and just pop that forward. So those were the only clips that we have to take out. So now we can move on to the bolts that are holding in our inner fender liner. We have 2 8mm bolts right up at the front here that we're going to go ahead and remove. I'm using an 8mm socket with my impact wrench. You can also use a ratchet. So now I am swapping over to a 10mm socket. We're going to remove the 2 bolts holding in the inner fender liner at the top here. So after those bolts are out, we have 3 more clips to remove on the inside of our fender here. You're going to take the trim removal tool again, pull the inner fender liner forward, and pop those out. So what I do like to do is put the trim removal tool in between what I'm prying off, just to give it some more space. So once that last clip is removed, you will have to push these forward to clear these clips on the outside, or you could remove those as well by taking a pick and pushing it in on the middle of that clip. This is already pushed down so I can show you. You will push that down to release it, and you can pull that out to clear this. However, you can push the inner fender liner back to clear it as well. So put that back in there. But once that last clip is out, we can fully remove our inner fender liner. So compared to your plastic inner fender liner that already comes on your JL, these will be a lot more durable, made of a 1/16 inch aluminum. So these will be able to take a hit off-road and on the street, protecting the side of your engine bay. These will also have a black powder coat finish on them to resist any corrosion on the aluminum, and it's going to assist you in giving you a sleek and off-road look. Now I do have the vent here. This is going to come in a bare finish, so you can color match this. They're completely paintable, so you can color match this to whatever color scheme you already have going on your JL. So speaking of the vent being out, this is going to have a modular design to it, and we will have to piece it together in just a second, but that's really going to assist in giving an aggressive and off-road look. Now, what I do really like about these is the fact that this is going to help with heat dispersion. Now, previously, the JK did have a lot of heat soak. It was notorious for it, and there was a lot of problems with overheating, and the plastic inner fender liners were one of the main problems with that, keeping a lot of that heat inside of the engine bay. Now, switching over to a system like this is going to disperse a lot of heat, and that's why they put a fender vent on the JL, but this is just going to make your JL a lot more efficient and keep it a lot cooler over time. So enough with our plastic inner fender liner, let's bolt up our new ones. So before we install our inner fender liners on our Jeep, we do have to install our mesh panels onto our inner fender liners. So you can grab all of your hardware as well as a 3/8 inch socket and an Allen key, and we can go ahead and install our panels. So all of the panels will be specific to what they have to go on. They will be shaped accordingly and have cutouts for each of the bolts. So you're just going to keep that in place and line it up the best you can with all of the corners here, with all of the bolt holes. So once you have that, you can grab your button head bolt and a washer. That's going to go on the front there and stick through like that. That will hold it in place, and you can grab one of the nuts and thread that on. So once we have all of the hardware attached, we can tighten it down with a standard Allen key and a 3/8 inch socket. So now we can tighten all of those down. I did stand it up because it is a little bit easier to see both sides when you're holding it like this. So once that one's on, we can do the same thing for the front. Now we can go ahead and tighten those down. So in order to attach the rear portion of our inner fender liner, we need to remove this plastic trim piece here. It's going to be held in by 2 clips, so I'm going to grab my trim removal tool and remove that. Just going to pull forward on here, go behind it, and just weed it out. So once that's removed, we'll have 2 spaces in order to attach our fender. So you can go ahead and grab the rear portion of your fender. So now I'm bringing in the rear portion. So you will have a little cutout here. This is going to be for your turn signal light. And then you're also going to have a cutout up here at the top. It's going to go around this arm here that's holding on your fender. So we are going to put that in place. You're going to place that behind there. And then if you look down here, we are going to place this inner portion in between this plastic piece that's on our fender and our inner body here. We're going to wedge it up as far as we can. And that will kind of stay in place for the moment. Now you see these 2 bottom attachment points. That's where we remove those Christmas tree pop clips. We are going to take our hardware that we use to install our mesh liner and secure that down to those 2 attachment points. So you may have to push on the fender and kind of maneuver it around to get access to these 2 holes here. So now we can install our front portion of our inner fender liner by positioning it in the wheel well. You have a tab at the top that you're going to tuck into the fender liner, and it should go into place just like that. Now you can grab your hardware and attach it to the rear fender liner. So once that is together, we need to grab our trim removal tool and remove a clip that's holding in a line, because we have new clips that are going to attach the bottom portion. So the bottom portion of our front inner fender liner will be attached with clips down at the bottom here, but we do have a clip here that will interfere with that, so we're going to grab our trim removal tool and remove that. All right, so once that's out of place, you can actually relocate it to this hole here, because these will be our 2 bottom attachment points. So now we can go ahead and grab our front piece. So now we do have a hole at the top here that needs to be attached to this fender support arm. I am going to grab the same hardware as everything else. We are going to put the nut up there first, line it up with the hole, and then bolt it through. Now this is not going to be very easy to secure down, however, it's doable. So I'm actually going to use a 3/8 inch wrench to tighten that down, just because there's not a lot of room to work with up here. All right, and then we can move down to attaching these to bottom tab. So DV8 will provide you with some clips. We can go ahead and attach those to the bottom. So once everything is all attached, you are all set to go. We can do the same thing on the other side. So that's gonna wrap it up for my review and install. For more videos like this, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.